Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? Good, good, good. Thank you for coming in. Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing this morning? Thank you for those hearts already. As everyone is coming in, for those of you who do not know me, allow me to take just a quick moment to introduce myself. My name is Buffy Hood, and I am you're running late or I'm running late. So I am a direct seller with Premier Designs Jewelry. It's a direct sales company, but we consider it direct service company. Okay. No problem, Jenny. Just, hey, listen while you keep doing what you need to do, right? Good morning. Good morning. So yes, I have been doing Premier Designs for 9 years. So this is just something that I enjoy doing, something that I like being able to share my experiences with. And for those of you who enjoy listening, sometimes I like to share my opinions on things. So thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. And I have only had a couple of sips of my coffee. So if I seem a little foggy brained, forgive me. However, today I think this is going to be a subject that kind of hits home for me, and it's a subject that is, it's funny because it's one of my pet peeves, with others and with myself. Okay, so we're going to be sharing a little bit about that. So if you are joining us here live on Periscope, thank you so much for joining us. For those of you on the replay, thank you for popping back in to join us. And don't forget, whether you are live or replay on Periscope, those hearts work. So if you give a lovely little tap on the screen, that's just going to send me, I need to make sure that I'm grabbing the right guy here. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Listen, trolls. You're not going to get anything here. We're just going to delete you, block you, whatever. So as I'm going through, if you guys see something, please go ahead and flag it. Periscope is doing this new thing where you have an opportunity to be able to flag those for me. So if I don't catch them, please go ahead and do that. Again, for those of you joining us here on Periscope, thank you for being here. Also, for those of you who might be watching, do I take donations? I don't need donations. Jenny, you can just tap on that person's comment and it'll give you an option to be able to report it as abuse or whatever. Yes. Thank you. You're awesome. Okay. Let's try this again. So again, just thank you for being here. We're going to dive right into this because unfortunately, sometimes when you have this many people in the scope, which is a good thing, sometimes that means that you also have some trolls. And for those of you trolls out there, truly, you're not going to get a rise out of me. You're not going to get any kind of feedback from me. You're not going to get any kind of response from me other than being blocked. So perhaps if you're looking to, get somebody upset, whatever, this isn't going to be the scope for you because you're not going to be given the time of day. So there we go. Okay, so now while trolls are one of my other pet peeves, that's not what we're going to be discussing today. Oh my. And you will have to forgive me if you see me continue to wipe this one eye. I'm not sure what's going on. Allergies, I guess. I haven't taken my allergy meds in the last couple days. Oops. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. So you will notice the title said that stop asking for help in your business. That's not the end of the sentence. Okay? The end of the sentence is stop asking for help in your business if you're not willing to take it. Okay? Here's the thing. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people come to me or come to others and seek advice and then they refuse to take it because it means them having to step out of their comfort zone and do something that they are unwilling to do. Okay? This just, to me, that I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay? So here's the thing. When you go to somebody and you say, hey, you're really like rocking and rolling with these bookings, or you're really rocking and rolling in your retail, or you're really, doing awesome in sponsoring. What are you doing? When they share what they're doing, be willing to go try it. Okay? Don't just sit back and say, "Oh, well that's good for her, but I'm not her. That would never work for me." Well, you know what won't work for you? And why it won't work for you? Because you're not willing to try it. You're not willing to get out there and do it. Okay? And here's the thing. Obviously, if you are taking notice to what somebody else is doing in their business, and your thought is, "Oh man, I wish I had that kind of success. I wish I could do that." You could, but you're probably going to need to go do something different than what you're currently doing, because if what you're currently doing is not working, go do something else. Okay? Listen, y'all, that seems like it should be so stinking easy. It seems like it should be the easiest, like, common sense thing in the world to grasp. But we miss that. We miss out on that for some reason, because we allow our fears and our insecurities and everything else to stop us from going and doing things that we haven't done. And y'all, one of my favorite quotes is, "To get something you've never had, you must do something you've never done." Okay? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Okay? So if you are not doing what you want to be doing in your business, in the sense of, if you're not receiving the results that you would like to get, then chances are you need to do something different than what you are currently doing. Okay? So if you ask for someone's help and say, "Hey, tell me, like, I need some ideas here. I need to, can you at least be willing to consider them?" Don't shut them down immediately because you go, "No, I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm not comfortable doing that." Well, you know what? As long as you are fixated on staying comfortable, you're never going to get out of where you are. Okay? And many of you, we've talked about this before, many of you can probably admit that your comfort zone is not very comfortable. If it were, you wouldn't be seeking to be at a different place in your business or in your life. So if it's not all that comfortable, why aren't we willing to do things to get uncomfortable for the purpose of reaching the levels that we'd like to be at? And this isn't just talking about like leadership levels or awards or anything else. Not that those aren't good, but here's the thing. For some of you, it's simply a different level of income that your family needs desperately. Okay? So why are we not willing to go out there and do what needs to be done? Now listen, if y'all had a boss, okay, if you had a boss who came to you in your business and said, "Look, I need you to do this, 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 and this," as long as it was moral, ethical, and done with integrity, chances are you would be doing it. Correct? Can I get an amen? Okay. Chances are you would be doing it. If you had a boss that came to you and said, "Look, I need this to be done, and in order for this to be done, you need to perform this task, this task, this task, etc. You need to call this person, this person, this person, this person. You need to email this person, etc." Okay? So why are we not pushing ourselves to do those things that we know needs to be done, or to do those things that we've not yet tried, and it's in an area where our business desperately needs help? So my biggest thing, and I've another one of my favorite quotes that goes right along with this same thing, y'all, stop asking the Lord to guide your footsteps if you are unwilling to move your feet. Okay? So often, exactly, because no one's holding you accountable, but guess what? Your bank account should be holding you accountable. The lack of vacations should be holding you accountable. The stress should be holding you accountable. The lack of dreams met should be holding you accountable. Okay? Like, think of those things. We need to stop looking for that person or that boss to come and hold us accountable. And we need to look at our life. If our life is not where we want it to be, then that should be what holds us accountable. We should be able to look at that and say, "You know what? I am more afraid of being in this exact same spot next year than what I am of just getting out there and going and doing this. Okay? So we tend to hold ourselves back. We tend to, don't want to do that. I don't want to do that just yet. Or, not sure. I don't think that would work for me. Well, of course it's not going to if you don't even try it. And it's certainly not going to work for you if you already have the mentality that it won't. So stop asking the Lord to guide your footsteps if you're unwilling to move your feet. Stop asking for help in your business if you are unwilling to do what those people are suggesting. Stop complaining about where your business is if you are unwilling to change it. Okay? And this is something that just burns me up. It burns me up because when people are unwilling to do the things that need to be done in their business in order to make their business successful, and they refuse to do it, and then they want to turn their back on their business and say, this business doesn't work. It doesn't work. Well, I beg to differ. Chances are you didn't work. It wasn't the business. Okay? Yeah, setting goals is the key, but here's the thing, Jennifer, sometimes it's not just a matter of setting those goals. It's a matter of setting those goals and then breaking that down into actions and then actually taking the actions. Many people can set goals, but they don't strive for them. They're not willing to do what it takes to get there, okay? Successful people are simply the ones willing to do what the unsuccessful people won't. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Y'all, I got to tell you, and many of you already know this. When I came into this business, I did not come into this business for a business. I came into this business as something positive for me to focus on. Yes, exactly. And I might need to get that book so that I can keep it in my library. Okay. So here's the thing. I didn't think that this was something that was going to be a career for me one day. Okay. That was not how I approached this business. I approached this as I needed something positive. I needed a minimum of $200 extra per month, which is why I scheduled one show per month and held one show per month every month consistently for the first 14 months that I was in this business. Okay? I was getting out of it exactly what I wanted. And y'all, if you're getting out of your business exactly what you want, that is all I ever hope for. Okay? If your goal is one show a month, then you need to be celebrating that one show a month. But if your goal is to be doing 8 shows a month, and your goal is to be designer by this time next year, what are you doing to work toward that? And if you're not getting anywhere where you're currently at, then you need to be asking people who are in the level of which you'd like to reach. Okay? If your goal is to be doing Century Club, then you need to go talk to somebody who does Century Club every year and ask them for tips. Ask them how they reach that. How do they get 100 shows on their calendar in one, 12-month period when they're still working full time and they have kids and they have this and they have that. If you want to know how people do that, go ask the ones who've done it. Okay? But do me a favor. Make sure that when you go and ask them, that you're going and asking them with an open mind and an open heart and a willingness to at least try what they are suggesting. Okay? And again, this comes back to if it's moral and it's ethical and it's done with integrity. That's the only way I want you to be doing these things. If you are talking to people who are not doing things the right way, don't do it. Okay? If they share how they're accomplishing these things and it doesn't sound legit, don't do it. Okay? You don't want to be achieving your goals at any cost. Okay? You need to be making sure that you are doing things in the right way. But here's the thing. If they say, well, you know how I did that? I got on the phone and I literally called every single person that I even have a contact for. Whether I am, friends with them, whether I'm comfortable talking to them, whether I'm whatever. even if I only ever met them one time, if I have a phone number for them, or I had an email for them, or I have them on my Facebook, I reached out to them. And you go, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I hear so many times where people will say, I've talked to everybody. I've talked to everyone, and nobody wants to do a show. Well, if you've talked to everyone, then I wouldn't still be meeting people who've never heard of Premiere. Right? Is that a fair statement? If you have talked to everyone, I would not still be coming in contact daily with people who have never heard of Premiere, because they would have heard of it from you, right? Okay, so we have to be careful. We have to be honest with ourselves, because that statement really is probably more like, I've talked to everyone that I'm comfortable talking to, is probably a more correct statement. Yes, exactly. Because not many people have that anymore. Not many people have that work ethic where they are just willing to get out there and do what needs to be done. All right. Right now, we are more in a society where it's kind of like, I'll just sit here and I'll wait for people to call me, and I'll wait for, someone to contact me and say that they'd like to do a show. Maybe I met them at a show 2 years ago and I haven't been in touch with them yet, but maybe this will be the month that they contact me. Okay. Yeah. Booking boot camp. Yes. And that is with Jennifer Adams. Is that correct? That name is ringing a bell, but not sure. But yes, Booking Boot Camp. You can find Kim Adams. Thank you. I don't know why I was thinking Jennifer. Probably because we have so many Jennifers in the room. Okay. Yes, Kim Adams. All right. She is phenomenal. So get on YouTube, type in Kim Adams Booking Boot Camp. Listen to it and then go do it. Okay. It's not enough to just have the knowledge. It's not enough to just have the information. Sometimes we call it something else, but often we fail because we are just lazy in our work. Exactly. Amen. Okay. And here's the thing. Again, we are a society that likes to point the fingers and go, well, you know what? I tried that, but it didn't work because they never called me back. Or I tried that, but it didn't work because, well, they're just not interested. And here's the thing. And if we really looked at it, again, if we were being very honest with ourselves, we might be able to look at that situation and go, you know what? I tried it, but I really only tried it with like half of the attitude and half of the mentality that I should have gone into that action with. I mean, really, I only gave it about 50%. Maybe I only gave it about 30%. I didn't give it 100% of me. Okay. I didn't give it 100% of my effort. But yet again, we want to try to claim it doesn't work, or it didn't work for me, or whatever. Listen, it absolutely can work for you if you are willing to put in the same amount of effort as what the other people put in. Okay. And again, if you are in a place in your business where you're like, you know what, I'm good here. I'm good here. I'm good with what I'm doing. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I don't long for anything else. That's perfect. Then I am thrilled for you. But let me tell you something. For someone like me, who is always looking for more people to bless, who's always looking for more lives to change, who's always looking for more people to come in contact with, who perhaps need to hear the word of Jesus Christ, who perhaps need to know that they have a heavenly Father who loves them more than anything else and more than anyone else ever could. Okay. When I think about that, I'm not just good where I'm at. Does that make sense? Like, I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm thankful with what I have, but I'm not going to stop where I'm at. I'm going to keep trying to push forward and forward and forward. I am someone who is constantly trying to better myself, not for the purpose of competing with other people, but for the purpose of being a better me than I was yesterday, and a better me than I was the day before, and so forth. So for me, I'm just someone who's constantly wanting to grow and continue to push forward and do more and do better and that sort of thing for my own self. Okay, does that make sense? But occasionally you will have people who they say they want those things, but they don't want to do the work that's required to get there. Okay, so I beg of you, if you go and you ask for help and people give you suggestions, go try them. Go try them. And if you are unwilling to try what is being given to you as advice from someone who has done it and has been successful at it, then do not even bother wasting their time or yours by going and asking. Okay? The other thing I will say is stop asking for help in your business from people who are not even successful at doing what it is that you are trying to do. All right? I see that all the time where people are going, so hey, tell me what you do for bookings. But they don't even know what that person does in terms of how many bookings they're getting at each show. All right? They might be going, hey, I just want a new booking activity. Tell me what you do. Okay, would you first like to know what my ratio of bookings is at each show? Perhaps what I'm doing isn't working. So why would you want the advice from me? Okay, does that make sense? Like, if you want to know a good booking activity or you want to know good booking verbiage, go talk to someone who's booking a lot of shows. Okay? If you are trying to figure out how to increase your retail, go talk to somebody whose retail is doing well. Every time I made the first calls were negative because I was scared. Yes. The devil will work in ridiculous way. And here's the thing. Just as much as God is working in your life every day, the devil is working equally as hard to try and pull you away from the path that God has set out for you. Okay? So when people go, man, look, I'm trying to follow the Lord. I'm trying to do what's right. And I keep being met with adversity after adversity after adversity. Well, guess what? That's because the devil is fighting just as hard, if not harder. Okay? Because here's the thing. The devil likes to coerce us into things. The Lord wants us to come to those things ourselves. He doesn't want to coerce us. He doesn't want to force us. Okay? The enemy, on the other hand, he will do anything at any cost. Yes, fear, doubts, etc. They all come from the enemy. They do not come from the Lord. The Lord did not give you a spirit of fear. So anytime that people start this whole, well, I thought about doing that, but I just didn't have a good feeling about that. Like, I just feared what would happen if blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? The first second that fear came out of their mouth, that should have been enough for them to go, I feared, oh, you know what? That's not of God. So if there was fear put in there, then maybe it wasn't his choice for me to not follow through with that. Maybe that wasn't God's way of telling me to back off of that. Listen, God doesn't give you a spirit of fear. Point blank. Fear is faith in the opposite kingdom. Exactly. I love that. Okay. That's a hard truth. All right. So we need to stop again. We need to. There's another quote that I recently posted. No problem. Hey, as far as who was it? Elizabeth. I think it was Elizabeth Draper, out at Haven of Hope. She said, "Well, look, when I've said something at least 3 times, and I've already given somebody else the credit for it after 3 times. After that, I'm able to own it, and it just becomes mine." Okay, so. But here's the thing. There was another one that I just saw the other day, and I know I'm going to butcher it, but it was something along the lines of, don't ask God to expand your boundaries if you are unwilling to go there. Like, I have people all the time that say, well, I keep asking for my business to be expanded, and then when you hear them talk about, well, but I refuse to do shows that are more than an hour away from my home. What now? Like, I don't get that. How is God going to expand your business and grow your area if you are putting a limit on how far you're willing to drive from your home to go do a show, to go do an OP, to go whatever? Like, that makes no sense to me. All right. So don't ask God to expand your boundaries and then think small. All right. If you are in a small town mindset, God is not going to expand your business globally. Does that make sense? Okay. Does everyone understand? If you understand that, put a 1 in the box. All right. You cannot have a small town mindset but expect God to grow your business globally. It's not going to happen. Okay. You have to give him something. You have to give him something to work with. All right. So stop being so set in where your feet are currently planted. You are not a tree. You are not a tree. So stop forcing yourself to stay where you are currently planted when your dreams far exceed that area. Now, here's the thing. If you are willing to be honest with yourself and say, you know what, those are the dreams that I have, but I'm not willing to work with it, I respect that. I would respect that. If someone point blank said, these are the dreams that I have, but to be very honest, I'm not willing to work for it. I mean, what more can you say other than I appreciate your honesty? That's fine. What kills me is when people say how much they want it. When you can see their lifestyle and know how much they need it. When you can see what they're struggling with and you know how much they need this. And they come to you seeking help and you offer it. And then the next time you talk to them, you say, so tell me how that went. And they go, well, I didn't do it. I need some different ideas. Well, why didn't you do it? I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. So I need more ideas. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that can get tough. That can get really tough to have to say, because here's the thing. When, as an example, and y'all, just so you know, this is not strictly a conviction against everyone out there, okay? This is a conviction against myself too, because I will say, there have been times where I've heard people say, well, okay, as an example, and oh my heavens, I so wish I could remember her name. I met her 2 or 3 years ago at Haven. And she said that when she moved into a new area, actually, it wasn't even that she moved into a new area, I don't think. She had been there for a while, come to think of it. And she shared that when she really decided that it was time for her to do something different in her business, that she just had to be bold. And she had God constantly nudging her of stop and talk to that person, stop and talk to that person, stop and talk to that person. And she constantly pushed it off and didn't want anything to do with it because it took her so far outside of her comfort zone. And she was not accustomed to just talking to random strangers, okay? But here's what she did. She had this nagging feeling one day. She's driving her car down the road, y'all. Driving her car down the road. And God keeps telling her as she sees this runner coming toward her, okay? God keeps telling her, stop, 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 stop. So she stops. She puts down the window and simply says, my name is, and unfortunately I can't remember her name, but she says, my name is whatever, and I offer free jewelry. Could I give you some free jewelry? Would that interest you? Come to find out, that person was her next door neighbor who had lived next door to her for, I believe she said 5 years. That's why I remembered that no, she hadn't moved to a new area. She had just moved to a new place in her business. Okay. This woman suddenly starts doing, she went from like hardly any shows to a packed full calendar because she stopped being afraid to just tell people, I offer free jewelry. Would you like to be a recipient of some of that free jewelry? Okay? So here's the thing. Sometimes we just need to be willing to be bold. But guess what? I struggled with that. When she said that that's what she does, I was like, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, I don't see me being able to just stop somebody alongside the road and say, hey, I'm a jewelry lady in this area and I give away free jewelry. Are you interested? Like, that would scare me to death. And she even said she understands how odd that must have seemed to that person, to her neighbor, for her to just stop them in the middle of their run to say, hey, I'm a jewelry lady in the area and I offer free jewelry. Would that be of interest to you? Okay. Yes. So while that is something that I struggled with, I did get much better at that. That instead of when people say, oh, I love your necklace, instead of me just going, oh, thanks, and cutting off the conversation there, I now have learned to say, oh, thank you. It's Premier Designs. Do you know that I get paid to give this away for free? Would you be interested in something like that? Okay, or something along those lines. All right, it's different almost every single time it comes out of my mouth because it all depends on where I am, what's going on, or what my mindset is that day. Am I looking for new jewelers, or am I looking for hostesses, or whatever? But here's what I'll tell you, and this is something from Gary Googe that he has just drilled into our heads, is the absolute, when somebody compliments you on your necklace and you're just out and about, don't first immediately go to, oh, thanks, this piece is blah, blah, blah. Don't first go to trying to sell her that necklace. Y'all, because the absolute best thing that you have to offer her is a business opportunity. That's where you should go first, is I get paid to give this stuff away for free. Is that something that would interest you? To say something along that lines, look, that's leaving the door open for the possibility of her wanting to be one who gets paid to get, to give free jewelry, or it opens up the possibility of her booking a show. Now, if she's not interested in the business opportunity and she's not interested in hosting a show, sure, sell that necklace right off your neck if you need to. Okay? It's that simple. But you need to start with the absolute best thing that we have to offer, which is that business opportunity. Okay? So again, we just need to be willing to get outside of ourselves, outside of our comfort zones. And I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. I just saw what time it is. So I'm going to quickly open up for questions. If anybody has any questions about anything that we talked about, please put a 1 in the box and I'll know that there's a question coming. Otherwise, I'm going to let y'all scooch because I want you guys to get out there. I want you to get out there and go do those things that you've been afraid to do and go give it a shot. Just give it a shot. Because really, what do you have to lose? If you try it and it doesn't work, you are no further behind. If, however, you try it and it does work, you're that much further ahead. All right? And so often we hold ourselves back, but you need to remember, I see that, okay, waiting for that question to come through. So here's the thing. We hold ourselves back from success on a regular basis because we're so much more afraid of rejection. Well, is not feeling the rejection going to get you any further than where you're at? I mean, in my opinion, no, it's not. You getting the rejection, that's not going to put you further behind. But it also gives you absolutely no option for success if you are not willing to at least try it and step outside of that fear. And here's the thing. The first couple times you do something, you are going to be scared out of your mind. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be nervous. And it may not work for the simple fact that you were too nervous. So you may have to do it over and over and over and over again. Best verbiage for last minute shows, trying to get half the line and need 3 shows. Okay, so what I would recommend is reach out to people. Tell me real quick, do you work during the day at like a different job? Do you have a day job that you have to go do? That would help me understand what your potential options might be. This one here, it doesn't seem to know where it wants to go. Okay, all right. So during the summer, yes. So yes, Melody Box's text verbiage is awesome. You can see that on YouTube. And the other thing that I would say is don't focus so much on the standard shows. Reach out to people who might be interested in lunch hour shows. Reach out to Mommy and Me groups who might be looking to do a play date / jewelry play date. Okay. Those type things. You're very welcome. Okay. So those type things might be your best bet. You could also, reach out to people who have said time and time again that, yeah, I want to do one. I just don't have time. Reach out to those people and see if they'd like to meet you and, a couple of their friends for coffee. And then take just a couple of trays of jewelry. Don't do a full setup. Just take a couple trays of jewelry, and allow them the opportunity to be able to check some things out. Now, I don't know where you are in terms of your retail. I know you said you need 3 shows, but, depending on retail, it's one of those where if it's the number of shows that you need, those small U&2s and that sort of thing, they're going to be your best bet. If you need large retail, okay, and I would also say if you do not currently have a personal show, if you didn't have a personal show yet this month, make sure that you have one scheduled, okay? Yes, 1 hour, 2 friends, 3 pre-order. Oh, there you go. There you go. So, yes, it's... Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I was going to say that's another thing. Being able to, if you have, as an example, my personal show for this month is scheduled for June 30th. Okay. I did that for a reason. Gotcha. Yes. So for me, I am doing my personal show at the end of the month. So here's a couple of things that I have going on to try and boost that retail as much as possible. Because for me, I have the shows, I have the jewelers, but I'm about $2,400 short of my retail for being able to get the champion. Okay. So I am fighting tooth and nail to try to get this full line. So I have a couple of things going right now. First is my sample auction. Okay. So I do a sample auction where I'm putting items up for bid. I usually start them out at about 70% is what the starting bid is at. And then I'm doing kit replacements so that I'm able to get items that are staying in the line while I'm getting rid of the retired things. And in doing the kit replacements, then that's also helping my retail. Okay. The other thing that I'm also doing right now is I contacted every hostess who has had a show for me since January 1st. And if they did not use up all of their half-price items, I contacted them and said, congratulations, it's Christmas in June. You qualified for 8 items at half price at your show, but you only used 5. That means you have 3. That's awesome. Awesome. Yay. Okay. So then I let them know that they qualified for 8. They only used 5. That means that they have 3 half price items that are available to them to purchase before June 30th. Okay. Those are all being used as my advanced orders. Okay. So I have the hostesses who didn't use their half price items contacting me now to make use of those half price items that are being advanced orders toward my personal show. I have the sample auction that's going on that I'm able to use kit replacements for that to add toward my personal show as my advanced orders. And then, of course, I'm doing my best to try and get people here for that. Okay. So anybody that you can possibly reach out to, and let me tell you, it is by no mistake that Premier is doing the 75 for 12. Say that one more time. You were brushing your teeth. Which part? Which part? So yeah, Okay. So yes, so the Christmas in June. So look here, let me open one up here and I'll read it to you just so that you get a full idea. All right. So first I sent this image that says Christmas in June. As one of our 2016 hostesses, we would like to give you the opportunity to use the half-priced items you earned, um, that you earned at your show but did not use. Okay, and then it says offer ends June 30th. So I sent that picture along with the text that says, congratulations, you get to benefit from a 2016 hostess special. You have a total of 3 unused half-priced items that you may purchase by June 30th. Just go to and provide it. Yes, I'll put it in the Buffy's Toolbox. Just go to, and I gave my website and then said, and let me know if there's anything that you would like. Okay. Now, I sent all those out yesterday. I've already had 3 or 4 contact me with being able to add an order. So that's not too shabby since I just sent them out yesterday. So yes, so I'm kind of waiting to see what happens from that exactly. But here's the thing: if I wouldn't have done it, I wouldn't have done it. What is your best way to get people to your personal show? I would love to tell you that I have huge success with that, and I don't. Unfortunately, with where I live versus where the majority of my customers and hostesses and friends live, I'm about 30 minutes away from most of the people that I ever do anything with, business-wise or even personal-wise. So that can sometimes prove to be very difficult. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of success in that, but I do collect as many orders as possible, because if I can get at least one person here, it's still a show. So even if I don't get a lot of people here, it doesn't matter. I had, there was one year, my personal renewal show was a $1,600 show. And that was after discounts that I was at $1,600. Yes. And so I had a $1,600 show and I only had 2 people come. Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those where I have just learned that, if I want to have large attendance, it's going to be because I'm willing to do the show somewhere else. In the sense of I would need to probably go closer to where the majority of them are. But at the same time, if I'm able to collect the orders, even if I only have 1 or 2 people here, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's, yes, yeah, yeah. Is this bad? I don't remember if I did, because I just renewed in May. I don't remember if I did an actual renewal show or if I just did my personal show. I used to always wait to do my renewal show until July, because that's when the hostess benefits are usually better. So even though my renewal is in May, you have up to, you can do the month before, the month of, or up to, I think it's 4 months after. Like you have a 6-month time frame to be able to do your personal renewal show. So that can be done anytime. I think it's the month of and up to 5 months after, or the month before and up to 4 months after, or something along those lines. But it's a total of a 6-month window that you can do your personal renewal show. When I first came in, originally I thought it had to be done that same month, and that's not true. You can wait until whenever it is that you'd like. So July, they usually have really good hostess benefits, and my thing is, in May, I don't tend to need as much jewelry as what I will want in July when the new stuff comes out. So yeah, so I usually wait. Yes, as soon as I pop off here, I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the Buffy's Toolbox group, so you guys can use that. It doesn't have any of my info on. It just has that that the offer ends June 30th. But for those of you shooting for this particular thing, you're going to want to do that. So, yeah. Alrighty. Does anyone else have any more questions? Otherwise, I'm going to let y'all scooch. And thank you so much for the hearts, for all the love, for all the responses. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Hello, hello. We have some people just now popping in. And by the way, even though we are just now wrapping up, if y'all feel like there's anybody that would have been able to benefit from this, please feel free to invite those followers. I assume that you guys always know to do that if it's something, and I don't always think to say it at the beginning. But yes, so if you think anybody that is on your following list would be able to appreciate what was shared here today, then make sure that you go ahead and invite them. Yes. Yep. I'll include all of that on there. I'll post the picture, but in the caption of the picture, I'll also post that verbiage. You're welcome. You're welcome. You too. You're welcome. All right. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go ahead and scooch again. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me as long as you did. And my pleasure. My pleasure. And I look forward to getting a chance to see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. That will be our Tips and Tricks Tuesday. So looking forward to that. So we will see you guys tomorrow, 8 a.m. And if I'm seeming a little foggy brained at all this week, or perhaps I'm going to be more on point this week than usual, my children are gone at a in-state mission trip this whole week. So I have literally no distractions. So that could either make these scopes really good this week or I could be very foggy brained because I don't have to be playing the role of mama this week. So, all right, guys. Well, you have a blessed one, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. It doesn't want to let me go. Bye, guys.